They had us where we had to go to a tailor when we got the job there, and they measured us and made tailor-made uniforms, a jacket, a pencil skirt, and a silk blouse. And we even had wings, which I still have. And there was no automated baggage area to take the bags out to the plane or to the back. So there was a double door. That was during the Vietnam era. And so there were a lot of servicemen, and they had those huge duffel bags that weighed a ton. And whether they were regular passengers' bags or whether they were those big duffel bags, we'd take them off the little place between the counters and sling them through those doors as hard as we could so that they'd get through. When a flight was ready to board, they would let me know, down at the gate, they'd let me know that they were ready. And so I would announce the flight for Piedmont. Now Piedmont went up and down to all these little towns. So it was quite a lengthy announcement. Piedmont Airlines, flight 636, pacemaker service for Huntington, Beckley, Bluefield, Charleston, Roanoke, Norfolk, and intermediate stations is now boarding at Gate 2. We had TWA on one side of Piedmont and Eastern on the other side, and all the agents got to know each other, and we'd help each other out however we could. It was just smaller, it was more intimate, and you could just interact with people, and nobody seemed to be in as much of a hurry as they do today.
We didn't really have a fire crew. We did have a fire truck. It was an old timer, of course, and it sat right down below the control tower where we had a view of it. Whenever we had an accident or emergency or a potential emergency, it was all manned by the volunteers, and that was all the ramp crew from TWA and American, Piedmont, Lake Central, whoever was handy. They all jump on board, and as many times the thing wouldn't start. You look outside and see all these guys pushing a fire truck out of the terminal out to where the emergency was to get it started.
I took a correspondence school while I was going to high school. I traveled to Kansas City, and they taught us how to write tickets, how to operate teletype machines, and that was a long time before computers. The whole operation. They taught you, how to do air bills, how to do tickets, everything that's combined, to make an airline agent. I learned to do everything there was to do, but my whole love was being close to airplanes, so I worked operations. Operations was my thing. I got to talk to the pilots in the airplanes. It was my duty to send the times, so my job was to transmit that information to tell the people downline where the airplane was at all times, and we always know where the airplanes are.
One time in particular, I remember we had a Piedmont Martin 404 coming in from the East Coast, and we was having a real bad ice storm. He was trying to land on runway 27, and the lower you get, the heavier the ice was getting. And so when he first came in, his windshield froze over, and he couldn't see. He circled around, and all the time he said, "Hey man, I got to get in here because I'm getting low on fuel." I was telling him when he should be turning base leg. And then he took his left elbow and knocked the ice off his window. And when he landed on, I had to tell him when he's over the approach end of the runway, and he landed on 27 just by looking out the left window, which I was glad that was over with. I was very proud of that pilot.
When they were going out to Vietnam, shipping out, you could tell that they were worried or sad and everything. It made me sad. There were so many of them going. And I offered to write them letters if they wanted somebody from home that they'd met to write to them. And I ended up with 12 names, and I gave them my address so that they could send me their address once they got to Nam, and they were in all the different services. So I wrote one letter to each man every week, and I prayed for each of them every day. I met one that I ended up marrying.